Hello, Marvel fans, comic geeks, and all nerds in between. My name is Megan with Vigilante Vibes, and today I'm here to talk about another character. And her name has been thrown around a lot recently due to the speculation of Sadie Sink possibly playing her in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Let me be very clear. As much as I would love that, Mary's already been done in Iron Fist. Now, if Marvel decides to pretend that didn't happen, which I highly doubt, then Typhoid Mary would make a lot of sense given what we've seen in the Spider-Man trailer. So, what better time is there to discuss Typhoid Mary than now? She first showed up in Daredevil number 254 in January of 1988 and was created by Ann Nocenti and John Romita Jr. Mary Walker's life started off pretty horrendously. She was born into a really unstable home with her parents constantly fighting, even before she was born. After she came into the world, things got so much worse. Her father began abusing her while she was still an infant. One night, when he came into her room again, something in Mary snapped. She mentally retreated deep inside of herself, and a secondary personality emerged that violently attacked him, rightfully so. After that, her father never touched her again. So in a really twisted way, that alter ego became her protection. Over time, that need to protect herself caused this second personality to develop powers: subtle mind control, telekinesis, and even pyrokinesis. These abilities were actually mutant in nature, and they first showed up when Mary found a dead pigeon and accidentally burned it, and then brought it to life. The fires at home she unintentionally started around the house only made the hostile environment even worse. Around this time, she also developed a very intense attachment to Catholic imagery. Because of her unusual mental state, Mary became a subject of interest for researchers and spent most of her life in institutions. Her main personality, Mary, who's Mary Walker, was gentle and cooperative, but also physically weak, sickly, and prone to seizures. She had no idea her other personality even existed. But that second personality, though, that second identity was a whole problem. It was the complete opposite of Mary Walker: violent, unstable, and constantly feverish. It became known as Typhoid Mary. While institutionalized, that alter ego was mostly focused on developing her psychic powers. Unfortunately, Mary's condition made her an easy target. A group of researchers got hold of her and subjected her to intense psychic brainwashing as part of a Weapon Plus program called Project Psyche, trying to turn people like her into sleeper agents. At one point, while she was in a psychiatric hospital, she met Elektra, who helped her escape. So Elektra's a girl's girl. After getting out, Mary actually managed to build a pretty normal life for a while and became a very successful stage actress. But she disappeared again, not surprisingly, likely because of her other personality. Eventually, she ended up working in a brothel. That's where she first met Matt Murdock before he even became Daredevil. He showed up to attack someone there, and things went very sideways, and during the chaos, he accidentally knocked Mary out of a window. That moment stuck with her. She swore she'd never let a man hurt her again, and from then on, Typhoid Mary really took over. And to put it in perspective, that moment also stuck with Daredevil as well. Matt was haunted by her falling out of the window, and it shows in his comics. Later in Chicago, she built a reputation as a criminal, getting into robbery and blackmail before moving to New York City, where she became both a vigilante and a murderer. That caught the attention of Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. Impressed by her abilities, he hired her to emotionally destroy his enemy, Daredevil. Daredevil lives in Kingpin's head rent-free, and I find it hilarious. She approached Matt Murdock in his civilian life, pretending to be kind and trustworthy, even making up a story about caring for her blind father, who was not blind and wasn't cared for by Mary because he was a piece of garbage. She quickly gained his trust and got close to him, even helping a blind child recover to strengthen that bond. Before long, she had Matt completely focused on her, pulling him away from Karen Page, which Mary loved. At that time, she was secretly attacking him as Typhoid Mary, keeping him confused and off balance. Ironically, her Mary side started to genuinely fall for him. She kept working for the kingpin, manipulating people and carrying out his plans, but her mental state kept getting worse. Eventually, her personalities clashed hard enough that she broke down mid-fight with Daredevil and she had to flee. Realizing her softer side was becoming a problem, Typhoid Mary recruited a group of assassins to help her take Daredevil down. They brutally attacked him, and she ultimately tried to kill him by throwing him off a bridge. That act caused even more fallout, especially with Kingpin. Kingpin was actually infuriated that Mary tried to off Daredevil, and that pushed Mary to finally realize she had multiple personalities, which caused Mary to become suicidal. When she later found Daredevil alive, she actually saved him and got him to a hospital while also revealing the truth to Karen Page, but not in a friendly way. She was absolutely tormenting Karen Page, which is, it happens to the best of us, Things escalated even further when she teamed up with the demon Mephisto during a chaotic crisis in the city, trying to exert her control over the Kingpin and fight Daredevil before disappearing again, as she tends to do. From there, her life kept spiraling. Mary worked for different villains, manipulated heroes, went through more experiments, and kept switching between identities. She crossed paths with people like Wolverine, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man, and the X-Men, sometimes as an ally, but a lot of the times as a threat. At one point, Typhoid Mary even developed a third personality, Bloody Mary, which was even more violent and targeted abusive men specifically. There were moments where she tried to get better, using medication, joining communities, even attempting to live a normal life, but something would always push her back. She was repeatedly captured, experimented on, or manipulated by powerful figures like the Kingpin, government programs, or other villains. She even teamed up with Deadpool at one point, who had actually tried to rehabilitate her, but gave up helping her when Mary used manipulation on Deadpool himself. Do you know how wildly unhinged you have to be that Deadpool tries to calm you down? That should tell you a lot. Eventually, after a lot of chaos, she managed to integrate her personalities more fully for a time and even worked alongside Daredevil when he took over the Hand so he could put a stop to their violence. She later reunited with the Kingpin, and their relationship evolved in a surprisingly emotional way. Over time, they grew close enough that he proposed to her, and she accepted. Mary Walker became his wife, effectively the First Lady of New York during his time as mayor. Even then, things were not stable. There were invasions, betrayals, and even more battles. At one point, she bonded with a symbiote, further fracturing her mind. Still, she and Fisk remained connected and even escaping together after his fall from power. Later, as a mutant, Mary claimed citizenship in Krakoa and lived there with Fisk. During a major mutant crisis, which was the third Hellfire Gala, if you guys know, and they were separated. Mary ended up in another realm called Vanaheim alongside a few other mutants including Marrow, Magic, Mirage, and Dust, and even Asgardian allies before eventually making her way back. Most recently, we saw Typhoid Mary in the new Alias comic, which was released on the 25th anniversary of Jessica Jones, and now she's teaming up with Jessica, but I'm awaiting the second issue, so I have no idea what's going to happen next. And I'm very, very interested to find out. She's still very much with Wilson Fisk. She's still very much unhinged, and we love her for it. In the end, despite everything, abuse, experimentation, fractured identities, a long history of violence, Mary Walker, aka Typhoid Mary, aka Bloody Mary, aka at one point Mutant Zero, remains a deeply complicated figure, constantly caught between her different selves, her past trauma, and her attempts to find some kind of control or peace. So that is Mary Walker. That is Typhoid Mary. I am very interested to see if Sadie Sink is actually playing her, because we got to be honest, guys. She can't play Jean Grey. It makes no sense to me, and I don't get it. So yeah. That's Typhoid Mary. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something, and I hope you will like and subscribe. So with that being said, have a marvelous day.